Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The Texas A&M Aggies continuing to do a really good job building this offensive line in the 2024 cycle, landing top 10 offensive tackle, four-star Blake Ivy from the state of Texas. And before we get into the film and talk about what I love that he brings on the football field, I want to talk about the frame a little bit. 6'3 and a half, 280 pounds. The frame on the surface level might not look great, but when you look at the wingspan, a 7 foot plus wingspan, that's exactly what you want in your offensive tackles. He's going to be a solid athlete because he's not 6'7", but he has the wingspan, the arm length of a 6'6" offensive tackle. And so when you take a look at Blake Ivy translating to the next level, he will have to put on some weight, no doubt about it. But I kind of prefer my offensive tackles to put on the weight in their college programs because you know they're going to do it the right way. But more importantly, the athleticism is going to be there, but also that arm length. And he certainly uses that arm length on the football field. We're going to dive into the film and then talk about a few other Texas A&M targets that could be kind of falling in line the next couple of weeks. Now, before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys and the Aggie fans. You guys have been absolutely awesome. This is a team that we've talked about a lot. It has a very, very high ceiling in 2023. So appreciate y'all rocking with us. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, appreciate all the support you guys have shown. And let's get into Blake Ivy. And again, what kind of highlights Blake Ivy is what he could be at the next level, right? And I talked about preferring offensive tackles to put the weight on at the college level as opposed to being 330 pounds at high school because you know they're going to put it on the right way. So if you can get Blake Ivy into this Texas A&M strength program, have him get up to 310 pounds, but doing it the right way, maybe taking a redshirt year, you're talking about an offensive tackle that has an extremely high ceiling because the arm length is there and you see the athleticism plain as day on the film. I want to jump into the film a little bit, talk about what Blake Ivy brings to the table because, again, he's a guy that you see the athleticism, you see how explosive he is, and quite frankly, you also see him use that arm length as at a high level. Firing up the film, one phenomenal athlete. This linebacker wants nothing to do with Blake Ivy in the hole there. I love how he can operate in space. You're going to see him crash down again. Finding linebackers at the second level is something that a lot of big offensive tackles really struggle with. Blake Ivy, I mean, you see it on a consistent basis. Now, does he play a little over his skis sometime? Sure, he does. That being said, and then you see the athleticism in pass pro. I mean, you go back and you just see the feet that he plays with. Really, really comfortable in space. Eats guys up with his arm lengths. Doesn't let them get into his body. That's kind of what I mean in terms of that important arm length. So you're combining really good arm length, a really good frame with a really athletic offensive tackle in Blake Ivy. There's a lot to like. And Steve Addazio, as critical as we've been, like he's got to start developing these guys. And Blake Ivy's a dude that, I mean, has all the traits to be developed into an All-American caliber tackle. Again, what I love to see is the athleticism, and that's kind of is still what I talk about when I want these guys to put on the weight later on, because he has that athleticism, right? He's getting to the second level, picking up linebackers. That's really, really rare to see. Gun, really good feet and pass protection. Loves how he never really lets anybody get into his body. Now, taking a look at this Texas A&M class, it's starting to come together, right? I want to talk about the offense really quick first, because you have two of the most exciting wide receivers in this class. Cam Coleman, who's getting comps to Julio Jones, just kind of a freak athlete with the size, the speed, the body control that he brings to the table. And then you have Draylon Miller, who, again, one of my personal favorites in this class, a top 15 wide receiver, a little bit more of a Deebo Samuel vibe to him, really good after the catch, can take balls out of the backfield. So you're looking at two premier wide receivers, which you absolutely love as you get this advertisement out of here. And then I want to talk about the quarterback spot, where you go out and get two guys that maybe aren't crazy on 24/7 in terms of their rankings. Although I will say Miles O'Neal, according to On3, is a top 100 national prospect. What you're doing in this quarterback room is taking two guys that Anthony Maddox got Lamar Jackson comps from Bobby Petrino. Miles O'Neal, you see it, 6'5", 220, has a howitzer of an arm. You have two quarterbacks, and this is probably why they took two quarterbacks in this 2024 classes. Hey, if one of these guys hits, you're looking at a really premier college football quarterback. Maybe a little bit raw coming out of high school, but two of these guys that I think you're really excited. I wouldn't call them lottery tickets, but I would call them really high upside takes that maybe aren't necessarily ranked that high because they're still a little bit raw at the high school level. And then Ernest Campbell, one of the fastest players in this class. On the offensive side of the ball, you're looking really good with the skill position and the quarterbacks. Now I want to talk about what they did on the offensive line, which we've kind of talked about. That's a unit that was disappointing last year. I think during our previews, we talked about a lot of these guys. I mean, they're high recruits, they're really athletic dudes, they're high upside guys, and they didn't really come together all that well last year. Bringing in Asandre Afua, who has again done a phenomenal job reshaping his body. He committed last week. Now you bring in a guy in Blake Ivy. You also add Weston Davis, who's a top 20 offensive tackle. You're looking at this offensive line class, and you're starting to feel really good about what it is, combined with two quarterbacks that have high upside and wide receiver play that's really, really going to be good. If you're an A&M fan, I know this is maybe not what you're used to seeing, maybe top 10 classes when you're kind of used to top 5 classes. Jimbo Fisher building this class out, and it took a little bit of time to get off the ground, but when Cam Coleman and Draylon Miller started, kind of the dominoes started falling, Jimbo Fisher's really building a good class here. Now, I do want to talk about two prospects for Aggie fans to keep an eye on as we play out this September month. We've got first 5-star athlete Terry Bussey, who I'm sure many Texas A&M fans, if you've been following recruiting, know very well. He's been a Texas A&M lean for the majority of this process. He's committing at the end of September. This is another guy that you talk about Texas A&M stacking top 5 classes. Terry Bussey joining the fold would allow Texas A&M to get into that top 5. Again, a freak athlete who's done that quarterback, running back, wide receiver. You probably won't find just a better all-around athlete than Terry Bussey. Whatever position he plays at Texas A&M, he's going to be damn good at it. And so that would be a massive addition. And then another guy that just to keep a tabs on. Terry Bussey's probably the next guy that you're looking at for Texas A&M in terms of 5 stars that could fall in line. Aiden Breland out at Mater Dei. He only took 3 official visits. Texas A&M got one of them. He's been really quiet about his recruitment. I know Oregon's playing a big role in this. I know Georgia's playing a big role in this. And then you got Texas A&M and Miami. Texas A&M sounds like they're in the thick of this with Aiden Breland. And we've seen them close late on David Hicks last year in the 2023 cycle. I could see Aiden Breland being kind of a guy that Texas A&M can maybe close on. And if you close on Aiden Breland, you're looking at a couple 5 stars that are real difference makers in your program, right? Cam Coleman, Terry Bussey, and Aiden Breland. Yes, this class took a little bit of time to get off the ground, but if you're an Aggies fan, this class is really, really coming together. I'd be very excited. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. Wanted to keep this one short, but if you do enjoy the content, again, consider subscribing to the channel. That's the best way you can support the fellas, and we appreciate it. And we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.